I see it.
Okay, yes, it says you're alive now. So awesome. Yay. Okay. Hello, everybody. We are so excited that you are joining us for this really great panel that we have set up for you. We have some teachers, we have moms who are going to talk to you about CBD and what their experience has been with CBD and helping their kids, with attention and focus and sleep and just having that inner calm and so many other things, growing pain. So we have a big panel for you, and we're going to try to get to every single person tonight so they can share a little bit of their story. Just like we were talking about before, this is like a time of year where we're bringing things down to everybody's starting to go back to bed early, or we're trying to get them to go to bed early. I remember those days. My kids are grown now, but and then they're thinking, gosh, they're going to be at school for most of the day, and that can cause big feelings and also a lot of uncertainty. So we want to give them the best start possible. We have found a lot of people, you guys, are having amazing results and not having to turn to pharmaceuticals. Some people have been able to turn away from pharmaceuticals and get these wonderful benefits for their kids in a natural, healthy, safe way without the side effects. I mean, hello. So I want to go ahead and start this off by introducing you to Lindy. She is a friend of mine, and she's a school teacher, and she deals with your crazy kids all the time. And so I thought, what better way than to have a school teacher come on board and just share her experience, and let you know about the kids in the classroom and what she knows about CBD. So, Lindy.
Hi. Hi, thank you. I'm Lindy. I teach first grade. So I got all those crazy first graders all in the same room, which can be very overwhelming. But I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. I have ADHD and I was on Vyvanse at one time. And although it helped me, I'm an anxious person as well. So it got me going like a stimulant did. And so I felt like it was like working, but it was making me more anxious as well. And so then I went off of it because I was like, I can't handle this. And then I wish I would have known about CBD when I took it a while ago. So when I started taking CBD, I was like calm and I just feel like I'm not overwhelmed and I'm like just get anxious about like crazy things and just a lot. And my best friend like next door was like, have you been taking your CBD? Because I can definitely notice like you're just chill, you're calm, you're grounded. I'm like, I have, thank you. But like another problem that I see like with kids is sometimes it takes a while to find the right medication, and like sometimes they're like over medicated and they're zombie like, and then they'll get like super emotional when it starts to wear out. So and that was like one thing with me is like as I was coming off of the stimulant, I felt like I was super irritable and I didn't like that feeling. So I'm just really excited that CBD has helped me not only for my anxiety, but also my ADHD. And then it's just important, like for kids, like in first grade, like school is so different from home. They have to follow like a whole day long routine where they can't do whatever they want. They have to have like an attention span to be able to listen to all the things all day long. And just focus is super important. And I'm just hoping to like educate parents and like let them know that there are other ways to help their children rather than stimulants, and just to see if CBD is right for children.
Yeah, for sure. And like we as parents, we can help her help our kids. You know what I
I
mean?
mean, I do keep some CBD in my lunchbox, just saying.
Oh, that's so great. Yes. So thank you so much for sharing, Lindy. Like it's so good to have a teacher's point of view. And I wanted to also have Katie come on and share about her experience with a CBD. She has an 8th grade son and she's been giving it to him. And I just love her story. I thought, I wanted her to share that with you guys as well.
Hi guys. Sorry, I don't know if it's loud. I'm here at the salon. Um, so yeah, my son Xander, he was diagnosed with ADD when he was about in actually like kindergarten, and I was really hesitant to like go the pharmaceutical route, and but I also wanted to help him. I think that's like so hard for parents because you really don't want to watch your child struggle, but and if there's something that can help them, then you want them to excel, especially in school. Xander is he's very ADD. He likes to show off. He likes, He's pretty much all the things that make a teacher crazy. So, but the thing with the when we've done the prescriptions, like Lindy said, sometimes it can like overstimulate. He'd have issues sleeping at night. He had no appetite. It was just a lot of highs and lows and trying to figure out like a perfect dose for him. So when we tried the CBD, it was like he was getting all the benefits of, you know, what the medication can do for you in the positive sense, but without the harsh side effects. And all four of my kids take it, and it's a lifesaver.
Yeah. I bet. I love that. And just the fact that he was taking something before and he found something that actually works. And as a mom, I can't imagine I can't imagine because I give it to my own kids, but I didn't have it when they were younger and in school. So I can imagine it makes you feel good to be able to give them something that is natural and you like, it's totally safe.
Oh
So
yeah,
thank
absolutely.
you so much. Go ahead.
Absolutely, for sure.
And you guys, she's multitasking. It was this important to her. She's putting some, I don't know whose hair you're doing right now, but they've got some whatever going on and she's getting it going. So she's multitasking and she's here for you to let you guys know. So that's really fun. I wanted to turn it over to Amanda because we were talking earlier about, actually yesterday, about, you know, when kids are going to school, I mean, think about it. As adults, when we go to new situations, we're nervous, you know, but these little kids, they go in, there's these big emotions because there's so much uncertainty. They don't know who their teacher is. Is their teacher going to like them? Are their friends going to be in class? You know, is school going to be too hard? Are they going to remember what they learned last year? Are they going to feel like they forgot everything and now they're going to not know what's going on? So there's a lot of emotions and there's a lot of uncertainty in there. And kids just naturally are going to go into that situation knowing that, you know, they're going to be away from their parents for the big part of the day. And I wanted Amanda to speak on that because she has a great story with her son about how she was giving him some CBD that helped with those big emotions.
Yes, Wyatt is definitely one of those kids that feels big emotions. He's just one of those kids that like feels all the emotions. So when any big event or something like this comes up, he is definitely one of those kids that gets in his head and he gets so anxious. And I feel like with last year being out here in Washington, the schools were mostly closed for the year. Like they had to go in towards the end, which isn't really normal. So now they're about to restart like their full school year after pretty much being off for a year. And you've got, you know, he wonders who his teacher is, like who's going to be in his class. Is he going to remember where his classroom is? And then, you know, he starts thinking, well, you know, these 1 years I had teachers that didn't teach me correctly. And then I get bored and then I get in trouble, you know, so he's just like so anxious when it just comes to all of these big events, especially when it comes to school, that he actually asked me if I had my own bottle of Nanos the other day when I went to go take one, because he wanted to make sure that he has his own jar, in which he does. And I was in my own Nanos, but like just this natural, like he knows that he gets really anxious. And then for him to like ask me for this CBD going, all right, mom, like it's going to be a day. Can I have my CBD? Just, man, I recommend it. I really, really do.
Yeah. It's something when they notice a difference and can come to you and say, hey, I think I need this. Like, I think I need to make sure I have this today. That right there tells you that it's working and they are feeling the difference, which is a big mom win and a dad win too. We just happen to have all moms today, but dads can attest to this as well. So thank you so much for sharing your story. And Alicia, I wanted to come to you next. And she's going to tell you about her daughter. And her story was a little bit unique. And I thought it was so great to share because it may resonate with some other parents as well. So, Alicia.
So, hey, everybody. Anybody who knows my little girl, Ava Grace, if you know her, you love her. She has the biggest spirit, the biggest personality. She never meets a stranger. She just loves everybody. If she sits down next to you at the park bench, 30 seconds later, you are her new BFF, even if she forgot what your name was. Like, she has that type of personality. But ever since even, you know, when she was a toddler, or we really recognized it when she got into school, into a more, setting where she had to sit and be still and stuff like that. She just needed to talk. She needed to be over here. She needed to do this. And so people were like, well, did she have ADD? You know, what is it? And I was like, well, it doesn't matter because I'm not putting her on medicine. Like, I work for a pharmacy in mental health, and I see, what that looks like. And Ava Grace's personality is big, and I refuse to, dull her shine. Like, I understand she's a lot to handle, but we're going to work on it. Well, as she got older and, as she progresses through school, it was really affecting her grades. So we took her to several doctors, and they all were like, no, she doesn't have, this one, this one, this one, or this one, it's just her personality. She even went through, months of therapy sessions, and they're like, nope, it's just her personality. And so when I discovered CBD for Ava, I was like, maybe this will help. It's not going to make her like a zombie. It's not going to dull her shine. It's going to let her personality still shine through, with also letting her not blurt out in class, be able to focus long enough to finish her test and do her very best. Letting her just have that inner calm where she doesn't feel like, hello, I'm here. Like, everybody, what are we doing? But that's just her personality. And I know lots of children who have big, bubbly personalities, and there's nothing wrong with that. But they just have to be able to have that calm when they're inside in class and when they need to have that calm. And we know at school they have 15 minutes of recess, maybe 20 minutes, maybe. And so, as kids, I know as an adult sitting in an office all day, I'm like, ready to go, ready to go. And so I can only imagine what it's like for kids. But with Ava Grace, CBD has changed everything. We saw an increase in her grades, like almost immediately. Just we started on Monday. By Friday's test scores, she had increased from C's to high B's and A's. The next week, her teacher came out to the car rider line and said, I don't know what Ava Grace has been eating for breakfast for the last 2 weeks, but can you send some to school to share with the class? And Ava goes, Mom, I told her it was my calm oil. And I was like, well, we'll have to send some to share with class, because apparently everybody needs some calm oil. So she really, really does like it. And she's like, Amanda said, her little boy, she's like, don't forget, I got to take my oil before we go to school. She washes her face, brushes her teeth, and takes her oil every morning before school. So she's really excited. They start school tomorrow. And she's like, you got my oil ready? I'm ready. So it's really made a big difference in our lives, and I'm so thankful.
Yeah, that story reminds me of, I hear a lot teachers coming to the car during the car line and saying something to the parent. Like, this really, I'm not sure what you're doing, but whatever you're doing, keep doing it, because the last 3 days or the last 4 days have been amazing. And I love when a teacher doesn't know what you're doing, but they notice that something's different and something is positively different, in such a good way. So thank you for sharing with us, Alicia. And I love your little girl's name, Ava Grace. That's so cute. I wanted to have next speak Mary. I wanted Mary to speak because she has 2 boys. She is a massage therapist, and she uses CBD for her boys. And I really wanted her to talk about, we wanted everybody to feel after they've watched this live that they have a better understanding of what CBD can do. Why would people use it? And so she's going to talk a little bit about using it for those growing pains. I don't know if moms have already gone through that. My son played soccer. He's 17 now, and they are real and they are painful. They're excruciating at times. And so I wanted her to talk on that. And then she also has another son that she uses it for that is in school, and just dealing with transitions and how it's really helped him so much to be able to transition from one thing to another. So Mary.
Thank you. I'm Mary. I've been a massage therapist for 15 years, so we try to approach everything pretty holistically in our house. But there's some times where it's just like, I'm at a loss. I don't know what to do. So our older son, Justin, is a soccer player. He's 10, and he has dealt with some horrible heel pain. Horrible heel pain. So we tried orthotics. We tried all the things. So between actually the reduced cream and the ice roller and Mama's massaging, it made a huge impact with his feet, his ankles, and he's been able to play. Now both the boys take the 500 milligram broad spectrum twice a day, morning and night. And I think I really fully believe that if they take it every day, the other things help a lot better and a lot faster. So between the rollers and the nano jellies and the creams, Justin, he's pretty good. He takes it. I'll say he takes the oil more or less because he does have a show-off personality, and it's kind of like, bring it down in, baby, and focus on what we got to focus on, and then you can be the showboater. Now, Jacob, He's my little introvert, and you can't tell him that we're going to have breakfast, lunch, then dinner, and then maybe have dinner before lunch. That's not how Jake works. If you said it, that's how it's going to go. And he's just jumped leaps and bounds with the oils and the tinctures, the rollers. He's done great. He calls the shine roller his happiness helper, and he carries it with him. He uses the calm roller before bed every night. And like you ladies are talking about big emotions, Jake takes something this big and it sounds this big in our household. And it's like, whoo, boy, what are you going through? Like, this is bad. I can see it. Like, whoo, this is really bad. But he's gotten to the point now where he will walk to our little cabinet. And like I've told Sam before, we had a medicine cabinet up in the room and it was all natural stuff. And they're welcome to kind of self-diagnose, just to kind of go over, self-examine. But we moved it down to the kitchen because now with all of this, it's kind of gotten a lot more packed and we needed a little bit bigger of a space. So Jake will go over to the cabinet in the kitchen and he gets out his rollers and he uses them. He relies on them. He loves them. Justin, like I said, he's my little athletic guy, but he's been working on his backflips. He landed a little wrong the other day and he was kind of shocked. And then immediately asked for a nano jelly. He's like, I'm going to need a nano, Mom. And I'm like, you can have a half. We'll start with a half. We'll see how you go. And then if you need the other half, you can have the other half. But he was back up and running within a half hour. And I think the biggest takeaway from it is consistency, making sure that they're on a really good regimen and letting them know that they can trust it. It's really nice that they can take something without worrying, like, how am I going to feel? Is this going to like get me scared? Am I going to feel dizzy? Or, multiple things that you can give kids, I'll say, can have those side effects, but they do. And even I was explaining, Sam, I had a little bit of an incident the other day and my boys they gave me the oils, which was fantastic. They're like, Mom, you need a nano and I'm going to go get your 750. And I'm like, okay, all right. I just sat there waiting for them and they came over and I was like, I'm so proud of you guys. Look at you, like when their friends are struggling, like Jake, he's like, you need a happiness helper. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? But he wants his friends to be as happy as he is now. Like he doesn't struggle with kind of finding the brighter side of things now. Before I called him a Sour Patch. It was a little negative. But with his roller, he'll be like, well, Mom, it could have been worse, right? And I'm like, yes, it could have. You're right, baby. Like, I think you're pulling yourself together here. So it's really helped our family. We all take it. They offer it to their cousins like it's candy. And I'm praying they all jump on board because I'm supporting 6 kids with this stuff.
Yeah. What's great about your story is exactly, really, that's our story. When your son's like, it's helping me, I've experienced something with this, I want to share it with my friends. Yeah. That's literally what we do. We want to
absolutely
that works for our family, for ourselves, for our kids, and share it and say, hey, there's no risk to try something that literally can help you so much. And at the same time, do it without those side effects. So thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate that. And I want to, so you've heard so far, big emotions. You've heard about these nervous feelings about going into situations, growing pains, just all kinds of stuff. And we want to also let Andrea come on and talk to you about her son, because he uses our CBD and it has helped him so much, you guys, with sleep. And that is so important for these young ones to get a good night of rest before school the next day, especially. But I wanted to turn it over to Andrea and let her tell you about how she gives it to her son.
Thank you, Sam. Hi, everyone. My son, Slate, he has done a testimonial in the past, which was riveting, I will say, about all the benefits that CBD has played a part in his life. Sleep being one of them. He was diagnosed with ADD this past year. So that was a struggle for us because I am not the pharmaceutical parent as well. So Katie, I can relate to you on that level, most definitely. But the sleep portion, he couldn't shut his brain down. And that was really difficult for him because it's something that I struggle with as well. And before I started taking CBD, I would be up till 2 a.m., get 4 hours sleep, get up, work a 10-hour day, and was really struggling. Slate was doing the same thing with school. So his grades started lacking, his energy was lacking, and until we finally found that sweet spot with the CBD oil, and with him taking the sleep boost on a regular basis. I mean, this poor child was on 3 hours sleep, trying to do virtual learning, which was a brand new thing, as we all know as parents. That was a struggle in and of itself, and for teachers, for kids, like, it was so hard to adjust to that. And then with him struggling with anxiety and ADD, it was a lot. So CBD literally changed not just his life, my life, my husband's life, our family as a cohesive, family unit. It really changed our lives because we were stressing over him, which was stressing him out. So that trickle down effect was happening in our family. And then once we all got to our sweet spot, taking CBD, taking Boost, and regulating our lives, I have gone off of 3 different just myself. And then Slate was taking melatonin to sleep at night just so he could function during the day to go to school, because he just, like I said, he could not shut his brain down from anxiety and ADD. And he was really struggling with that. And that's been ongoing for years. And with taking the CBD and, like I said, being on a regular basis, that has really helped our family. Um, my husband as well. I mean, he has ADD. He was diagnosed at 7 years old. So it runs in the family, anxiety as well. So poor Slate, he was, as he said, could y'all have given me the worst traits ever? I mean, seriously. I mean, I have dad's ADD and your anxiety, but we found our sweet spot with CBD. I mean, we found something that has truly changed our lives. And I can't say enough about what it's done for our family. So it's not only helped him sleep at night, where he can shut his brain off and actually get a good night's sleep, but he wakes up the next morning and he's refreshed. He takes his CBD. He puts his little focus on his little rest behind his ears. Sam's heard the story. He does his little focus, roll on. This is his regimen, and he loves it. And it's keeping him off of pharmaceutical drugs. I don't know what the side effects to that would be long term. I don't even want to know. I'm not even going to ask those questions, because we found what we need for our family, and that's CBD and
Yeah.
Boost.
Yeah, that's what's so good about your story. What I really enjoyed about that was I wasn't even thinking about, but you're right. Whenever you helped your kids, you've helped your whole family, because you as a mom or a dad, you are thinking about, okay, my child didn't get enough sleep last night, and then now I feel bad that they're going to school all day long and they didn't even sleep well. And then you start to have these types of feelings. And when your child is feeling better and you're feeling better on something that is natural, that's such a great feeling. But that was such a great point, that it helps the whole family, not just your child. So thank you so much for sharing, Andrea. I appreciate that. I know that helps. Sleep is a huge, huge deal. I know it was for me when my kids are growing up too. Just getting them to just calm down and relax their mind, and it's time to go to sleep, and then being able to go to sleep and fall asleep and stay that way through the night. That's a big deal. So thank you. And then I wanted to turn it over to Robin to talk a little bit about, how she's been using CBD for, I think it's her son, actually. Maybe it might be her daughter. She has a few kids. So I wanted to have her talk about attention and focus, because that's a really big thing for school, just in life in general. But when you go back to school, you got to have that focus. And I think that you were telling me that you are homeschooling this year. So when you're inside your house trying to homeschool as a kid, you can get distracted by all kinds of things. So Robin, I'll let you share your story.
So all three of my kids were public school before COVID, and they never had an issue in school. They knew how to act, they knew how to perform, they knew all that stuff, right? Of course, kids always behave for everybody else but you. So this year, being homeschooled, 3 kids, because they're comfortable here, because they're at home, it is so many things that they can just, squirrel, shiny ball syndrome. And so just talk about my youngest, because I don't know if you can hear that. That's him upstairs playing. I have to keep him focused, right? And it's so easy. He can't sit down unless it's some karate movie. He won't stay still 5 seconds. So today alone, after we did our schoolwork, I had to go up there 4 or 5 times and specifically tell him what to clean up in his room. And he tries. He really does try, but the focus is just not there. He just cannot focus on just making my bed. So I'll say, make up your bed, Andy, and it will turn into laying in the bed, playing on the bed, under the bed, everywhere but making up the bed. Just the simple things. And so I started giving all my kids take it, but I upped the dose for him particularly. And he is more able to focus on that one simple thing at a time to make up a bed. So it's gone from going up there 10 times, and my frustration has stopped. I'm thinking, okay, he's just not listening to me. He's disobeying me. He's disregarding me. And it's really not that. His brain is just all over the place. And so when I give him the CBD, he stops. I could see his brain, okay, I need to make up the bed, not go play with the Star Wars toys, make up the bed. Or, okay, I need to put my toys up. And I notice when I give him the CBD, he's working on it. I can see his brain thinking, okay, this is the thing I need to do right now. This is what I need to focus on right now. Now, I might have to tell him 5 times because he is 8, but I can see his brain thinking about it, doing it, and it might take him longer because, granted, he's an 8-year-old boy, but I can see his brain focusing on it and concentrating on it and really working on it. His room is clean. It might take me 10 times to go up there, but his room is clean. And so then it just follows into schoolwork. You know, we homeschool. There's 3 of them. I have an almost 13-year-old, almost 10-year-old, and he's almost 8.5. So I can see him sitting down, doing his work, and I can actually leave the room and come back and it's done. As opposed to when we first started homeschooling right after COVID, I can say, do this virtual, and then I'll turn around and he's playing Star Wars toys. So the CBD that he takes is really, really helpful. It's a blessing. And I know, much like some of you guys, it's ADHD runs in our family. I know I have a degree of it. I know my mom does. My brother was diagnosed when he was a kid. So it's really a blessing and a godsend for us and our family to use it. We're military, so we're just waiting on the military to get on board. So my husband started taking it, but I absolutely love CBD. And this little lock right here needs some.
I love it too. And you know, it's funny because it's not just kids that get distracted. Obviously, we know, but you know, definitely they do. But even as an adult, I mean, I love that I can use it because I think that I multitask, but I don't. I just have a lot of unopened tabs that I haven't completed, just like a kid. And so for me to be able to have, you know, our CBD and to be able to close a tab and then go to the next task and then close that tab and then go, it's just been so much more peaceful and it's given me a lot of inner calm. So that is awesome because I know that kids definitely feel that as well. You know, just like squirrel, you know, so look at so-and-so's shoes or look at that over there, or something's out the window, you know, that'd be hard to focus in class. So I know that that's so helpful. And it doesn't just help the parents, it helps the teachers. So I wanted to turn this. Thank you, Robin, so much for sharing. And I wanted to turn this over to Shalene because she has been a school teacher. And, you know, with us helping our kids, you guys, it really helps these teachers, you know, because they've got, I mean, I've never been a school teacher, but I hear, because I have school teacher friends, that it's not easy. And they're dealing with kids that are not their own children. And there's not just 1 or 2 of them. There's like a lot of them. And so can you imagine trying to like wrangle all these kids and get them to listen to what you have to say? Like, I can't. So let's be a blessing to these teachers and do something nice. And like, you know, let our kids try something that is safe, pure, concentrated, without the side effects that could literally make this school year so successful. So I'm going to turn this over to Shalene and let her tell you about it.
Hi, everyone. I'm Celine, and I'm an elementary school teacher from the past. I have resigned and pursued something else, but I will talk about my years as a teacher. I taught 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade. So I taught lower elementary and upper elementary. The first thing I want to talk about is those notes home that parents get, report cards, things like that say, oh, maybe Bobby, you know, talks too much in class, and we can work on that. Or maybe there needs to be a little bit more focus. And the thing that I always like to say as a teacher whenever I was writing notes home was, you know, Sam could really use more practice at home. meaning there's an issue here, but I'm not a doctor. I can't diagnose it. I'm not allowed to talk to you about medications or CBD or things like that. But I can encourage you to practice at home, things like that. So the things that I saw in variants were extreme from one end to the other. I had the little, hurricanes that ran circles around the classroom and up on desk and up on chairs. And then I had the ones that fell asleep in class. And due to medication or things in their environment at home that, needed addressed, that kind of thing. But I just honestly feel like if we could get this in the hands of so many parents out there, that a lot of those issues would be eliminated. And it's all natural and it's holistic. And like as many of you have talked about, there's no side effects and it's not pharmaceuticals and things like that. So I really feel like I would say probably the majority of all classrooms could use CBD, not only from a student standpoint, but also at the beginning of the year, maybe you could send your teachers a little CBD or some marrow jellies, and then at the report cards and at the holidays and then midterms and also at the end of the school year. So don't forget them also. They could use it.
Yeah, so she's basically when you give teachers a big supply of CBD to be able to
Yes,
so
yes.
what a blessing. Thank you, Shalene. That's hilarious. But yeah, I mean, it's so true. And really our goal tonight, you guys, is just to give you a better understanding of why parents would use it, what the perspective is of teachers in the classroom. I mean, at the end of the day, you may be saying, you know what, I would like to try something like this first because I can always go to Walgreens or CVS or Publix or wherever and fill a prescription later, right? So just to be able to try something first and see how it works and go to nature, because a lot of times, you guys, nature has the answer and it totally does heal. We just don't know where to go. So that's what we all wanted to give you our testimonies of where we've gone and what we have found. We have the best CBD, and you've heard words like boost and topicals and CBD. Well, what we get to offer is all of those things. They work together, but we really like to tell people about the CBD. That's the superstar of the show because that's what's really making the repair in our bodies. And in our little kids' bodies and our teenagers. I have a son that's 17. This is going to be his senior year. So you can best believe he will be stocked up on his CBD. I'm expecting some really good grades, hopefully. Hopefully. But anyways, at the end of the day, whoever invited you to this, we went a little longer than normal, but I just felt like this topic was so important. And there's so many reasons why people are using it for their kids. So get with the person that invited you to this and have a conversation about the products or maybe a recommendation. You guys, there's a 30-day money back. So for me, there's no risk to try. I mean, that's taken off the table because if it doesn't work for your kid, it doesn't work for you, you can send it back. Okay, so that's another great thing that we get to tell everybody about. So hopefully this has been very beneficial for everybody. Thank you to the panel for taking time out of your night, out of your busy day, or wrapping things up and getting your own kids ready for whatever they got going on tonight. Hopefully getting ready for bed, right? So getting them on that good routine. But anyways, thank you so much for sharing because I know this is a passion of all of ours. We found something that works. We want to share it with the world and make it a healthier, more chill place. So you guys have a great night. Thank you so much for popping on, and we'll see you all later. Bye.